Good day, everyone. I'm King Vincent Arbunida from PSC 1-9, and today I'll be reporting the radicalism and identity fusion theory. First, what is radicalism? What is radicalism? Radicalism from Latin radix or root was historical political movement within liberalism during the late 18th and early 19th century, and the precursor to social liberalism. Historical radicalism emerged in a revolution and a similar movement it's inspired in other countries. It is the opinion and behavior of people who favor extreme change, especially in government radicalism, political ideas, and behavior. It's a beliefs or action of people who advocate true or complete political or social reform. It means radicalism gives the fundamental approach to the politics, and it's also suggests a complete rather than the gradual change, whether to structural, social, or revolutionary change. It is also holistic approach to the problem. It means radicalism is the saturation of change as a whole and not in the specific radicalism. Refers to the total change of things for example, law enforcement enforce the general or maybe in the country, even if there are those who disagree or agree. Herbert Harrison, West Indian American writer, actor, and orator or educator critic. This was described by activist Philip Radol as the father of Harlem radicalism. Radical theory of criminology. Radical theory in criminology. Radical criminology is a conflict in ideology which bases its perspective on crime and law. The belief that capitalist society precipitate and define crime as the owner of the means of production, use their power to enact laws that will control the working class and refers to treat to the power of the ruling class. Radicalism criminology closely closely like to critical criminology, Mark Marquis approach the crime that looks at criminality its full context and especially consider how the ruling class use further in own interest. Radical theory tend to view criminal law as an instrument by which the powerful and affluent curse the fall into patterns of behavior that preserve the status quo. One such view the so-called peacemaking theory is based on the premise that violence, great violence. Radical theory is criminology. Those police can cause violence that create more violence where the policy cause harm or violence that it will grow even more if there is a if it can grow due to a misunderstanding. Due to such police policeman violence that can cause one violence or can create more violence. What is identity fusion theory? Identity fusion is unique from the alignment with groups to which member experiences as visceral sense of oneness, oneness with the group. This contract relies on the distinct distinction between the personal self and the social self. The person self refers to the characteristic that makes someone a unique individual, or intelligent, while the social self pertains to the characteristic that align the individual with group. American fraternity brother, student council member, etc. As the name suggests, identity fusion involves the union of the personal and social selves. The potency of the personal self, relational in this distinguishes identity fusion from alignment with groups such as group identification. In group identification, allegiance to group member given the lack of involvement of the personal self and the relation is in identification, its flow and the measure identity. Fusion should be more predictors of personality, cause, costly for group behavior, including the endorsement of extreme behavior, such as for the groups. Identity fusion theory, personal and social identities become to attach and both expert in the group. When you when we say personal self, this your characteristic as you are alone maybe. There's something unique about you that no one else has. There are things you can do that they can do in the social selves. It is it is how do you deal with the society, for example. In the fraternities in student council or what the race do you have the social self, it is your association with a group to which you belong. The principles of identity fusion theory. 1. Agentic personal self-principle. When identity fuse, individuals become strongly connected in alignment with a group. They are assumed to maintain an active and authentic personal self, even when the social self is activated too. I'm sorry. The agentic personal self principle, the social individual, the agentic self, is still seek individual meaning if those forget the agentic qualities such as being goal, Sierra also when identity post. Individuals become strongly aligned with the group they are assumed to maintain an active and people reflect their personal self as we ask their social self. 2. Identity synergy principle. The fact that the person and social selves can be activated ident- independently, the possibility that they may combine surgeonalistically motivate for group behavior. In this principle, person self and social self can be combined for better working and performance in the group. Also, it is the concept that the value and performance of two companies combined will be greater than the sum of the separate individual parts. 3. Relationalities principle. The Prussian approach assumes that strong diffuse personas care not only about their collective field, the group as an abstract entity, but also their relationships, real or image, with the other member of the group. The principal relationships towards the group is basically important to strongly infuse person. 4. Irrevocability principle. The identity fusion approach assumes that once developed, fusion will remain stable over time. In this principle, it means that when a person establishes a fused identity, it is mainly constant and exchanges and stay as it's needed. Thank you, everyone.